Kendle's a multinational company providing services for clinical trials, and when you do a clinical trial, you provide lots of different types of activities to support it. So you're providing services which will allow the study to be approved by regulatory authorities. You're providing services which is giving medical input, so you make sure you get the medical part of the study right. You provide investigator relations, so you're finding investigators, doctor sites with patients. You monitor those, so you go to them and look after them. Then you write the data, you write a report, and finally deliver that back to the customer. And actually at Edinburgh, we've got all of those activities going on. So for the whole spectrum of clinical research, we have some part of that service based here in Edinburgh. As well as that, we have obviously support services, so you have financial departments and accounting and HR and all the other things you'd expect to see to keep an organisation running. But Edinburgh is one of the bases for Kendle in Europe, which is quite different in that it offers many of the services. In some of our other smaller offices, we might only offer one or two of those services. So I suppose here you could say you've almost got a complete one-stop shop to provide a clinical trial.
How has the presence here developed over the past 5 years?
Well, I think it's true to say that all of clinical research and all of the CRO industry has seen a very varying landscape over the past 5 years, because what we've seen is the effect of the global recession, and it has hit pharmaceutical companies just as badly as it's hit other industries. We've also seen in pharmaceuticals what we call the patent cliff, which is lots of well-known medicines coming off patent, which means that pharmaceutical companies are having to look again at their portfolio and their expenditure. And those two things have meant that all pharmaceutical companies have not cut back on their anticipated spending on clinical research, but they've tried to do much more with the budgets available to them. So I think in line with other CROs, what we saw 5 years ago was a massive growth. It was almost uncontrolled growth in the business, where all organisations just grew and more activity and work was coming. Then the pharmaceutical companies started to realise they had their patent issues, and they also had the effects of global recession. So there was a contraction, and Kendle, along with all the other CROs, had to slow down its rate of growth and really make sure that it focused its services on main deliverables, get through that difficult period. Now we're seeing clearly that companies and pharmaceuticals are coming through those crises and starting to accelerate growth again. So we're seeing growth returning into positive growth. And Kendle's following that as well. So I think in the five years here, we probably saw huge growth, then a slowdown and retraction in line with global economy. And what we're seeing now is a regrowth again. My view is that this won't be returning to the mad growth of 6 or 7 years ago, but it'll be steady growth and sustained growth, which is really the better type to have, because we'll be able to plan better and actually resource for projects in a much more controlled way. So we've been through our difficult period along with everybody else, but the signs are definitely very positive for the future.
The Technopole is part of the Edinburgh Science Triangle. How important is it for Kendle to be part of that wider scientific community?
I think it is important. I think it's important for our status, but I think the other area of great importance is in this business, people are our commodity. So we don't make anything, we produce no product. So what we sell effectively is our services, which is our brain and experience. And by being placed in a position such as this, it gives us access to good opportunities for getting the right staff in. People come to this area because they know there's a good scientific base here. So they tend to sort of think they can make a career in this area, and that interacts with the community and drives those centres of excellence. So for us, one of the key points about being in Edinburgh is our accessibility to very qualified, experienced staff. And that helps us with our growth. This is not an industry that you can just staff with headcount. It has to be the right headcount. So I think this is an important place. And in fact, for all the 25 years I've been doing this type of clinical research, Scotland has always been known for providing very good staffing, particularly in key areas. Statistical staffing are always strong up in Scotland, medical writing. So really good high level areas of knowledge come from this area.
What does the future hold for Kendle?
Well, I think the future is very optimistic, because now that we are starting to grow again and the industry starting to sort of really resurge, we can look to really empowering our activities in Europe, and within that we can look to our areas of expertise. So the professional advice that we give and the drive that we give to our clinical research partners. And also within the UK, I think there's a real political will to bring clinical research back to the UK, both in England and Scotland. So we'll be looking to place a lot more patients out of clinical trials in those two countries, and really deliver high quality data to our final submissions. I think UK data is still considered to be very important by regulatory authorities. So we'll be driving that piece, driving our expertise, and really driving the value of our skill sets.